He's young, he's ambitious, and he's on a mission. He's formed an international alliance to make his supercars team great again. But can he do it? Well, Ryan Walkinshaw, can you?
I certainly hope so. When we made the changes earlier in the year with management in the team, after a lot of frustration, we decided either we can continue doing what we've been doing for the last few years, which clearly hasn't worked. There's been signs of progress, but the inconsistency has really let us down. So we thought, what can we do to be different? What can we change? What do we need to do to be able to succeed going forward? Not just for the short term, but for the medium to long term as well. And I think that with supercars going the way it's going, if it is going to continue to be a manufacturer-based series, as I believe it should be, if we want to be top of the game, then we need to evolve and work with partners internationally to be able to support what we want to try and achieve locally. So I sat down with my guys here at Clayton, and we discussed what potential options we had available to us. And we started looking for new partners, but the partnership search was based on two key factors. Obviously a capital investment in the team, like any partnership and equity sell-off would have, but most importantly, those partners had to be able to deliver value over and above just bringing capital. So obviously there's a lot of people out there who would love to own a share in a supercar team. There's plenty of wealthy people in Australia who were interested when the word got out that we were searching, but not many of those guys, with all due respect to them, would have been able to add additional value going forward. So we really wanted to find people who could do that.
Okay, so that's Michael Andretti,
yep.
IndyCar great driver and team owner, and Zach Brown, whose highest profile role is running the McLaren F1 team, but has a very strong background commercially. After the announcement at Bathurst, there's been a lot of fanfare about Walkinshaw, Andretti United, the team. But so where are we at, and how is that all taking shape? Yeah,
you're right. There's been a great response internally in the team. Having an announcement like this is obviously exciting for the guys. In the other teams up and down pit lane, it's been received with a lot of interest, and I hope a little bit of concern. We've seen what has been able to happen with American alliances, as DJR have with Penske. So I'd hope that we've got a few teams up and down pit lane a little bit nervous about what could potentially happen if we get things sorted and move forward. But most importantly for our partners and the fans as well, it's been very well received there. I think it's important to get people to understand that the relationship hasn't really started yet. That starts on the 1st of January. So for the rest of this season, it's basically, we're working on everything for next year. So the deal actually doesn't start until 1st of January. But when that happens, obviously everything will be going full throttle. So at the moment, it's been much more focused around Michael and Zach's teams learning our business. We've been having a lot of calls with our guys and their guys, particularly on the technical side, and also on the commercial side. So it's really been getting them up to speed as much as possible so that we can try and hit the ground running next year.
New name, a new look, and new people. It's going to be a very different team, isn't it?
It will be, but at the end of the day, the building blocks are all the same. And Michael said it when he came out with his guys at Bathurst. So we had Michael there, his commercial manager, his technical director, and his president of his business there. And all four of them said that something we've believed for a long time. We're a really good team of people. We've got some very strong people in key roles. We just need a bit more car speed, and we've struggled on the development program for that for a number of years. And they seem to think that's part of the easy bit. There's a lot of low-hanging fruit there that they can come in and add value on the technical side. But it's much harder when you do something like Penske did with DJR, where the building blocks weren't necessarily there in the same way that ours were. So it was building a team, having to go and poach a lot of people, and also then try and find the car speed. We've got a good group of people. They just need a little bit of direction on the technical side, and we need to supplement the engineering resources a little bit more as well.
The team formerly was Holden Racing Team, one of the biggest brands in V8 and supercars racing. You were the man behind the wheel in the team's tough times and eventually lost that iconic brand. This time it's got to work, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. We wouldn't be going down this path if we didn't feel that this was something that we believed in. So, we could have just walked away from motorsport and focused on the wider part of our group. I mean, racing is 2% of our group turnover. It's a tiny amount. But it does drive a lot of the passion for us internally. We want to be involved in racing. We love it. It's part of our DNA. We want to continue it, and we feel that this is the best way forward.
New team boss. You've been looking around for a while. Anyone on the horizon?
We've had plenty of discussions. Obviously, any discussion going forward would have to be made between myself, Michael, and Zach. So some of those discussions have been put on the back burner a little bit. As it stands, though, I put Matt Nielsen and promoted him to the role as sort of interim general manager of racing. To be honest, we chucked him in the deep end, and he's done a really good job so far under really tough circumstances. So if he's managed to do a good job in difficult circumstances this year, I personally believe he could do a very good job going forward when he's got the resources behind him to have a better crack at going out there and trying to win races. And I think Michael and Zach are comfortable with that at the moment. So at least in the short term, Matt will be continuing. Doesn't mean we won't continue looking around and seeing what's available to us, and Matt's aware of that as well. But again, the best job interview you can have is actually getting on and doing the job and showing people that you're capable of doing it, and that's the opportunity that Matt has ahead of himself.
And just recently there's been speculation linking another driver to your team. So what is the status of, well, James Courtney obviously, but Scott Pye as well?
Scott Pye and James both signed multi-year agreements for the beginning of this year, and we absolutely plan on continuing with those two guys as our drivers.
Bringing Andretti and United in the past, international organisations have come into supercars and thought they could do a better job. Invariably they can't. So if you're aware of that, how are you going to guard against them coming in and trying to do too much that takes you in a wrong direction?
Yeah, I think the first point is that they're not coming in here thinking that they know how to make a supercar go around a racetrack faster than someone locally, which is a good starting point. And we were clear on that, and we explained that to both Michael and Zach. That's not to say that there's not things that we can learn and that supercars can learn from having international experience and so on, coming in with new ideas. But the concept of someone coming in and thinking they know best and changing everything to suit them and what has worked for them in other programs, as you say, it's very rarely worked in supercars, and actually it didn't work with Penske at first. They realised after a couple of years actually they had to go and poach the good people from internally in the sport and the good drivers and so on to be able to succeed. So we can probably learn from a couple of their mistakes and not go down that route. But I don't think the ambition, or the strategy at least, from Michael or Zach is to go in and think they know best. They want us to go and explain to them what we need from international support, and then they will support us in that. And then also what we need to do locally. So that predominantly means looking around and trying to enhance what we have here through local means.
Thanks, Ryan. Good luck with all that. I think you're going to need it, and there are a lot of fans out there who are certainly praying that you can get the thing back on the right track.
Thanks, I think.